Everybody loves a good bait hack. Now I've got one for you on jerkbaits. A lot of people only think about jerkbaits in the springtime, early in the year, you know, pre-spawn, that kind of stuff. Yes, they are absolutely good that time of year, but they can catch fish almost all year. You know, ask guys like Hank Cherry. You know, Steve Daniels made a 30-year career out of throwing a jerkbait almost all the time. And I mean, there's just a bunch of guys that throw jerkbaits religiously almost year round. I'm not one of those guys, but it's one of those I keep really close. And this little hack is something that can help you adjust your jerkbaits throughout the season without really having to carry like 100 different jerkbaits. Now I've got the Spro Mixed Stick 110. It is a suspending jerkbait. This is a stock one right here. This is a McIU color, a really tasty color. Smallmouth, got that little chartreuse deal. Anyway, it comes with number 5 Gamakatsu round bend treble hooks on it. With those are the stock hooks. That's kind of like the middle of the road for me. What those do is that bait slowly suspends on a pause. So as you throw that bait out there, reel it down, you know, jerk, 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 slowly suspends. If you're throwing a Megabass, you know, Vision 110 and a 6, those come stock with a 6. You know, it's not a round bend, it's a funky hook, whatever it is. I take it off and put, you know, number 6 round bend Gamakatsus. That's the same weight, in the same flotation rate as this bait with 5s. So with this mixed stick, I can take the 5s and I can adjust the weight if I want that bait to slowly sink, if I want it to sink a little bit faster, especially early in the year. I will take and upsize the front hook with a number 4 round bend. If I upsize that front hook with a number 4 round bend, that bait's gonna perfectly suspend and really slowly sink. And then if I take and put 2 on there, I'll put them on the front too. I don't want to tail weight it. I want to put them on the front too. Then that bait's gonna slowly sink like that right there. It's probably, you know, maybe a foot a second, something like that. So where you can throw that bait out there, twitch it 2 or 3 times and let it sink to get down into the zone where the fish are. You don't need like some mega huge lip on your jerkbait. You can just wait a few seconds once that thing's weighted properly and it will get right down into them. And then you can put all 3 on there. I rarely put all 3 number 4s because that sinks pretty fast. And I usually don't need to get a jerkbait that deep. I'll fish something else if I'm gonna try to get one that deep. But that's what I do on that. On the contrary side, I will go smaller in the summer. I'll take that 5 off the back and put a 6. Sometimes I'll leave that 5 on the front and put 2 6s on the back. Don't be scared of smaller treble hooks. Just because you're thinking, I need a gaff, like you're gonna gaff a shark in saltwater, you need this huge big grappling hook on the side of the jerkbait to get the fish. Nah, dude, that ain't the deal. It's a little smaller wire, a little smaller treble. You know, so if you're catching 4 and 5 pound smallmouth, you got to be careful not to yank on them too hard or to try to boat flip them when they're going crazy by the boat, because you'll bend the smaller hooks out. That's the only thing you have to worry about. But what's going to happen is that bait's going to slowly start to rise a little bit faster. The more small hooks you put on there, the better that bait's going to be rising. Make sense? I hope it does, because that is the deal. And just like with that, on that, like I was telling you about that Megabass Vision 110, you can go the opposite direction as well. You can, a lot of times I'll put 1 or 2 number 5 round bend trebles on the front too, if I'm gonna be using that bait. And that will help that bait slowly sink. If you wanna go crazy, you can put the 4s on there, but that sinks a little too fast in my opinion. If you do all 3 in number 5s, that Megabass Vision 110's got a good slow sink rate. And if you're not sure, I'll just go ahead and tell you the big difference between the mixed stick and the Vision 110. The mixed stick will walk in place, kind of pivots on its own axis right there. You know, as you're jerking it, it doesn't sashay real hard. It just kind of walks back and forth. Really, really good in cold water. A lot of times I'll throw that bait when I want the jerk bait to kind of stay in one area. You can jerk it on slack line real easy and the bait doesn't hardly move. You can jerk it 2 or 3 times without even hardly reeling up slack. Really, really neat feature for that jerkbait. I've caught a pile of largemouth and smallmouth, everything on that mixed stick. The Vision 110 sachets a little bit more. It jumps back and forth, maybe a foot or two. It jumps back and forth a little bit more than the mixed stick. That's the big difference. That's why I'm mentioning both. The Vision 110 is a very, very popular jerkbait. This principle applies to both of those jerkbaits, just so you know. But that mixed stick is makes up probably half or more of my jerkbait box. Just that 110 by itself, that is a good bait. And if you think about that little hook hack right there, but upsize, downsize your treble hooks. I use round bends most of the time. If you want to get crazy, you can put those G-Finesse treble hooks on there. Those ones I think do a good job, but they're going to be even lighter. So that's probably what you want to go to in the summertime when you want that bait to float. And there's something about a jerkbait that you get jerked down 3 or 4 feet under the water, and then when it stops, it starts rising back up towards the surface. Smallmouth tend to love that action of that bait coming back up. That is one of the reasons I'm mentioning the smaller treble hooks. So just keep that in mind. That little bait hack that I actually love to do. It keeps all the jerkbaits that I need in one box. Keep you some different treble hooks. Just change them out when you need to, and you will catch more fish.